Watching short form content is like driving a car, but trying to shift this gear stick every 5 to 10 seconds. You're changing the state of the car and the mode in which it drives. And that's what you're doing in your brain as you scroll through these things, is you're scrolling, 1 minute, something makes you feel happy, and then it makes you feel sad, then you feel a bit anxious, then you feel a bit lonely, then you feel inspired and motivated, and then you feel a bit angry and then joyful, and then confused and envious. And your brain, it can't deal with this level of stimulation. And so what it does is it gives you these weird disorders that make you, basically it's kind of its way of like, it's like a signal. If you have mental health problems, or if you have depression or anxiety, it's worth considering that an emotional state doesn't just come out of nowhere. You're not just born with depression, and you're not just born with anxiety. You might be born with neurochemical proclivities towards those diseases, but the emotional state of feeling that way, I believe you're not born with. A lot of people disagree with me, but that's just my opinion. There is science to back it, whatever. You get my point, right? I'm not being binary here. Your emotional state is an output. It is a production. And as Newton said, for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. So we can imagine that our emotional state is effectively a reaction, which means that something had to happen for that to happen. You don't just produce emotions for no reason. Now you might do if you've got like chronic schizophrenia, or you've got some real problems, but you probably don't have those issues. And it's worth considering that the output of your brain, which is your emotional state, is the result of an input, which is the only input that our brain has to produce outputs is information from our environment. Sensory information that our senses, like it projects into our senses, we digest that in our brain, and our brain produces these outputs in our behavior. And your behavior is dictated by your emotions as well, which is a whole other thing. And so just think about this for a second. Has it ever occurred to you that the reason that you're so emotionally fucked is because of what you're consuming? It's like, it doesn't take much of a genius. Like go and binge watch like a really, really sad, emotional TV series for a day and see what happens to your brain. Like you can temporarily contract like depression and like become chronically sad if you watch too much sad stuff. Of course, of course it makes sense. Like, if you spend your entire day watching content about, the Holocaust and every tragedy under the sun, then you're going to end that day feeling very, very sad, and you're going to have a depression hangover, basically.